Alrighty, in this video, I am going to go over some tips to get your bike ready for desert riding. All right, my first tip, lights. In the morning, it gets pretty dark here, especially during the winter time. And it's also really good during the summertime after the sun sets when it's really hot out there. So you need lights. All right, this is the Outbound Lighting Evo Trail light here. It has this nice quick release option here. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. You just basically flip this little lever here. It pops out like that. Pop back in, just tighten down the lever like that, and you're good to go. It's very similar to a camera tripod. The other nice thing about this light is that it allows for active or passive, I should say, it allows for passive charging. So with USB-C, I can plug it in underneath the light itself, and then I can actually plug it into my USB-C port. Luckily here in the morning, it wasn't too dark for too long, so I don't really need it. But if I was riding actually at night, like during the summertime, it would be very beneficial for having a much longer lasting light. All right, my second tip, hydration. So I went ahead and added this water bottle cage with the water bottle on here. And what's really nice about this water bottle, it's a Bevo water bottle, and it's great during those hot summers. It's fully insulated, holds about 17 ounces of liquid, but it's perfect for, an hour and a half to 2 hour ride. Maybe during the summertime you might need a little bit more, but right now it's perfect for most of my rides. I don't have to basically wear a full-on backpack with a bladder. So my third tip is having a good set of tools attached to the bike. As you can see here on my water bottle cage, I have the 1UP EDC tool and a pump all combined into one device here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this thing off to give you a better look at it. It's a nice pump. It goes pretty good. It goes pretty fast. And then in the top here, we have the actual EDC tool. See if I can pop this off with my gloves on. Has a good seal, nice little O-ring on there. And when I pop it out, you'll see it has a CO2 cartridge on here, because I can actually disconnect the head there and you actually use it as a CO2. I'm gonna set the pump down here. Oops. I'm gonna set the pump down here. See if it stays. Stay. All right. So what's nice about the tool is I can actually pop this thing off. So I just lift up the end here and it pops out. These can be used as tire levers. Here is the tool itself. It has several hex wrenches, a Torx wrench, and there are other parts in here too. I got extra links in here. It can actually remove chain as well with this into the piece right here. Has just about everything you need in an emergency. Now what happens if you get a flat? I'm going to go ahead and set this down. So I have a couple things. I have, and I'm going to, well, actually, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show you that this is a spare tube right here, this tubulito. Kind of have it strapped onto the frame here just as the absolute emergency. But most flats, with you have a tubeless, you just need plugs. So let me show you where those are at. The last part of the tools that I want to discuss are the plugs. They're stealth, they're from Muck-Off. They're actually stuck here in the bar end. So I'm going to go ahead and just loosen this up with a 4mm hex here, just to let it free, loosen it up, and they just go ahead and they pop out. I can do this with my gloves on. There we go. And what you'll see here is that there's two plugs, one on each end. This one here, I'm not sure which one it is. We're going to find out here in a second. This one happens to be the saw tool to kind of clean things up, make the hole a little bit bigger if you need it. On the other side actually has the plugs, so all nice and neat. Kind of pops right in here. Pop that back in there and just use the 4 to tighten it back up. Everything kind of slides back together. Pop it back into the pump. Pop it back onto the frame here. All right, and we are good to continue riding. My fourth tip, a bell. This is a timber bell. It is attached to the handlebar here. Right now it's in the off position, so shake it around, you don't hear anything. And then if you flip the switch down to there, then you get your sound. So again, this bell is very nice. If it's quiet, there's nobody out on the trail, you can flip it off. But if it's crowded, lots of hikers, you flip it on, everybody can hear you coming. They're really appreciative of having a bell. And if you're in the high country, maybe it might be able to warn some bears that you're coming. Made it. Ooh, that's a tough one. And my final tip, GPS. This is my Garmin 830. It is mounted onto my head set here. And you'll see that it has like a little 5mm spacer that kind of goes under the headset cap and reaches out. So that is my Garmin 830. I won't go into too much details, but I do want to say one thing. I'll swoop over here to the left, and it has this nice integration with the Shimano e-steps, and it allows me to go ahead and track my battery, kind of how much percentage of Newton meters I'm using, and you can kind of customize some of the bottom spots there. So it's kind of nice to have a nice little thing on there to give you some more details about the battery and the motor. The other nice thing it does is it will alert you when your battery does get low. So that's kind of sweet. So that is the Garmin 830. That was a lot of fun. So for my next video, I'm thinking about changing out my cockpit a little bit. I had mentioned earlier about the ergonomic grips that I added to the handlebars, but my handlebar itself is kind of flat, so I'm thinking about adding some rise. The other thing I want to do is work on this dropper post lever remote. It is not that great. My fingers tend to slip on it, and I think I can do some improvements there. So we'll do some research, and until then, why don't you go out and enjoy the ride.